What's up, guys? Welcome to brobeatz, and today we're going to have another episode of Fix the FLP. If you guys haven't subbed already or turned post notifications on, make sure you do so because it does help out a lot. Just hop right into it. So with this one, there was no like specific thing. It was just kind of like anything that I could help with. So the goal is just to help you get to the next level, not change it, because there is a limit to the amount of changes you will make, and to the point it just basically becomes a new beat. So I don't want to do that. I just want to kind of just do small little changes that might help. So we're gonna go through the melody, the mix, the drums, all that, right? So let's just start with the melody. All right, so first things first, let's just listen to it and see what it sounds like. Okay, not bad. So let's go ahead and go in here into the changes pattern. Let's change it to pattern. Let's focus on this like melody and these chords. So let's go into chords. Let's listen to the chords individually. And a lot of these sounds I had to replace because I didn't have a zip loop package. So a lot of these sounds are just like my own sounds. So okay, so sonically it doesn't sound bad. And when I say sonically, I just mean like it's in harmony pretty much. So like if I were to add some bad notes here, you'll see that it won't sound good, right? So sonically it sounds good, but two things that I'm noticing just off rip is that this is the same exact chord. Is there anything wrong with that? No. But I feel like it should somewhere, at least on one of these, you should break it. And then I can see this chain. I can instantly see this A is being used the whole time, which happens a lot, but I feel like just breaking it somewhere might help. So one thing you could do, let's just take this chord here, since this is the same, and we can just add another note, right? And how I'm deciding where to add that note is I'm just creating a chord from this D. So, well, did that wrong. Something like that, but I'm just taking the F. So what you could do is we could break this chain now right here, and we can even pull this C down or something, or pull this D to the C, right? And let's just see what that sounds like. And now it has a little bit more of a dreamy feel. If you don't like that, you can always just use the original, or, you know, try other notes. And I will argue I might even like that one better, but I'm just use this one. So let's just use these chords here. So those little changes can just improve it just a little bit. All right, but I don't think the original chords you had really needed to be changed. All right, because there is a limit to how much you can change before it just becomes a new beat. So let's just put these here under. Okay, now let's listen to it with the keys. All right, so now let's go to this flute, and I can already see just from right here that you probably just took the bottom bass note or root notes of the chords, which is nothing wrong with that. But the only problem I would say is it becomes too strict. It's not interesting, right? If you play it by itself, so we have to try to make it interesting. So let's break it by just using some of the notes that we already have. So if you just look, got an A, a F. So you can kind of use these notes in between to kind of guide you. So I'm gonna try using that A to start off. And I think you actually started with A right here. So let's see. So now we can break the rhythm instead of following the chords the whole time. We can kind of break it a little bit. Actually, you can break it even more. All right. All right, so something like that, it's just simple as that, right? It could be something to break this like strict kind of placement. Or if you wanted to, you could probably even, let me see. Right, you could do something like that just to kind of spice it up a bit. Do I even want to keep that? I don't know. So we can just keep this as the second part and just keep this basic part right here. All right, so there's a little things you can do. So now let's see for our melody. So I don't want to change this too much, right? Because melodies is just, you know, it's a million melodies, unlimited melodies you can make. I mean, again, I don't want to change it so to the point where it's not the same melody you made. So if I copy this over, it's the same melody, right? And you could do a little variation over here. So one thing you could do is gross beat your melody. And what I mean by that is not put gross beat on it, but you can, I can't even find, where's the thing at? But basically you can spread it out. So you see I deleted the second part. You can hold Alt and you can just drag it out until it's on a grid. And now you have kind of a template for your melody. And from here, it gives your brain the time to breathe so that you can think of some, it'll like come up with the melody as you're listening to it. And let me turn this on. And let's mute this. You can see I'm just hearing notes in my head, and I'm sure you are too. Right now, if I were to place a bunch of notes, now this is an extreme example, but you'll see. Now, some of those notes are good, but you can see it's hard for you to kind of think of something. So this will help, and I hope I can get the original. So this right here can help a little bit more. Okay, so I think that's all I have for the melody. So let's move on to probably the drums. Okay, so for the drums, what I'm gonna do is just pull some other drums in because these drums, they're fine, but for the genre, I feel like they need to be a little tighter, have a little shorter decay, and maybe a little bit of distortion and some grit to it, just because of the genre that it's in. And a lot of these drums are kind of like pop. They're like supposed to be layered. So we want to kind of modernize the drums a little bit more. So what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and just pull some drums from over here. And this is a free kit. All right, I'm gonna just use a free kit so everyone has access. So I'm just go ahead and pull these drums over. All right, so I just got these drums here and I just basically copied the pattern so we can hear the difference. And you will be able to hear what I'm talking about when I say like fitting the genre. So I'll just play it. You can see how much different it sounds. It sounds a lot tighter, right? So just keep that in mind. And this 808, I would say it is doing too much, but it's not an annoying 808. Like it's not super distorted. It's just kind of in the background. So only thing I would do is change this note because we did change our chords earlier. So right, it could be tightened up, simplified a little bit more, but it's not a big deal. You know, it's just an 808 pattern, right? You can always change it. So I think this is fine. And one other thing that I noticed is some of these hi-hat rolls are kind of random. I feel like you can be a little bit more strategic. Maybe try to move these over. Let me see. I don't know, just anything. Let me see. Like these two are really random. So I don't know. I'm just leave them, but you know, just kind of go with the rhythm or where you feel it should go. Like right here, you can tell it's a lot going on. So maybe one right here-ish. Right, and it's not perfect. Again, I'm just kind of do this as fast as possible. So, you know, copy this, just something simple. So I think that's it for the drums. So now what I want to do is go over the mix because it's the biggest part that I wanted to go over. Okay, so real quick, we got the mixing part. Now this is the most important because it's the perfect example of like how, you know, leveling is really important and how not to like over EQ stuff. All right, so I'm gonna show you the example first. So here's with the regular drums, right? And you know, just with all these effects on. Now, if I take all these off, you'll see it's a lot punchier and clearer. Right? Obviously, you want to put some stuff on, but I'm just showing you how different, you know, a lot of people say, oh, my drums, they're not punchy, they're not clear. Well, maybe you're over EQing them and stuff, right? You can see this is fine, but doing this on every single sound, it's going to make it sound a little weak. Right, it's gonna lose that punch, some of that low end, right? Low end isn't bad, right? It's just if you have too much, it'll get muddy, right? So you want to keep these sounds as natural as possible, right? And I just smooth these out a bit, right? So now with these drums, right, they're peaking a bit, right? A lot of modern drums, they peak, right? They boost it all the way up and everything. So what you need to do is kind of EQ it and put filters and stuff on it, right? So that it's not peaking so much. So I'll play it like this. See how it's tight and it's real, like, you know, it's right, it's punchy and tight. It's because it's controlled. But now when we take these off, it's gonna peak. Right, a lot of drums are clashing everything. Right, so that's just the difference. So just keep that stuff in mind. That's all I really want to show for the mixing. I think the 11 on this is fine. Just kind of ease back on the EQs. I feel like EQs is only use them when needed, right? They're just tools to fix things. That's all these effects are, right? You use the reverb if your sound is too like dry, so you want it to be a little bit more ambient, right? Use EQ if it's some a frequency in your sound is just kind of annoying and doesn't sound good. You take it out or you add to it. But don't just use it just because, right? So that's it for the mixing. So now let's move to the last one, the arrangement. Okay, so now we have the arrangement. Now I'm gonna just use the original stuff that's here already. And let me just put this down here. All right, so first things first, we have the intro. I would maybe add or like pull something in later so that it doesn't sound the same for like what, 14 seconds. It's pretty long. And then you can bring something in to kind of prep and even maybe even put your drums, make your drums come in, something like that. But overall, this is fine. And then Let me see, this is what, 16 bars. So I think that's fine for a hook, but you can, you know, add stuff in just to make it sound a little different. Maybe take, you know, just so it's a little different. Okay, and then given the BPM, this is gonna change a lot. I'm not sure if this was supposed to be a hook, but what I would do is do 16 bar hook, 16 bar verse. That's what I would do, because this BPM is kind of slow. So I would do something like this, right? And then maybe take the hi-hats out a little bit. I think the rest of this is fine, and you can kind of mimic this over here for the outro. And let me put markers in so you can see. Where are these markers? Oh, there you go. So, right, we got our intro, then our hook, and our verse. Because I feel like this BPM, you don't want to, because if you had, let me see, you would have a minute long verse if you would have kept the original that you had. I think that's way too long. So 16 bars is good enough. And then you go back to your hook. Or if you want to add like a pre something or like some in there, you can. It's not, you know, you could do it how you want. But this is just so it's able to be rapped on, right? It's not like a verse for 2 minutes and then the outro. And again, this is all my opinion, right? Other people might think something else or have a different way of doing it, but it's just a simple way. All right, but that's it for this video. Hopefully this stuff helped out and was helpful to everybody. Maybe if you're having trouble with some of this stuff, I really hope that it helps you, you know, get to the next level that you, or, you know, even if the mix, I really think this mixing thing is important. Because a lot of people ask me, oh, my drums aren't punchy, but maybe it's just you're over EQing it. All right, but that's it for this video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.